today we're talking about geometric sequences. If you remember, in an arithmetic sequence, to get to the next term, we're going to add the same number each time. In a geometric sequence, we're going to be multiplying by the same number each time. And that number is called the common ratio. To get that number, we're just going to take the second term and divide it by the first term. So we're going to have 4 divided by 2, which is 2. And we would call that our common ratio. We're going to use that to get the last 3 numbers in this sequence. So as you can see, from 2 to 4, we're just multiplying by 2 each time. So we're going to take that 16 and multiply it by 2, take the 32 and multiply it by 2, and take the 64 and multiply it by 2. So here's the formula. And let me just tell you again what each of these variables mean. So a sub n, that's your nth term in the sequence. A sub 1 is your first term. R is your common ratio. And n is the total number of terms. So again, you do not need to know you do not need to memorize this formula. You're going to be given this formula. You just need to know how to use it. So here's an example. We have to find the first 3 terms. For this one, we actually don't need the formula. We can just write it out. So our first term is given to us. That's 2. Our common ratio is 3. So we're just going to multiply 2 times 3 to get to the next number. And then we're going to take the 6 and multiply that by 3 to get to the last number of this sequence. In the next example here, we do need to use the formula. So let me go ahead and write that over here. So it's a sub n is equal to a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. Now we have to find the 14th term. So n, in this case, is 14. So we're going to take our first term, which is 1, multiply that times our r value, and raise that to the n minus 1 power, or the 14 minus 1 power. And so really I just have 2 to the 13th power, which is 8,192. We had a similar problem to number 4 in the arithmetic sequences where you had to find the middle terms. So we're going to use the formula again. So let me just start off by writing the formula here, because we need to figure out what our value is. Okay, so we can just list out a few things here. So I know a sub 1, that's the first term, that's 27. I know the last term, or in this case, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, our 6th term is 1/9. And there's 6 numbers altogether, so that's our n value. And so we're just going to go ahead and substitute in these values. We know that our last number is 1/9. Our first value is 27. And we need to find that r value, and this is to the 6 minus 1 power. So I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 27, and that's going to give me 1 over 243. This is r to the 5th power. So I actually need to take the 5th power of both sides to find our r value. So I'm going to show you how to do that in the calculator. Okay, so under the math menu, you can see this 5th option right here. You can identify what route you want to take, but you have to type in that number first. So go ahead and quit out of that screen. We're going to say that we want the 5th root. Go back into math, option 5, and then I'm going to put this fraction in here. 1 over 243. So we can see that our common ratio here is 1/3. So now we can go ahead and use that to find the 4 geometric means in this sequence, the 4 numbers that fall between the two that we're given. So I'm just going to multiply each number by 1/3, or another way you can look at it is you're dividing it by 3. So the first number is going to be 9, multiply that by 1/3, you get 3, multiply that by 1/3, you get 1, multiply that by 1/3, you get 1/3. And then if you multiply that by 1/3, you get the 1/9. So that's geometric sequences. We'll talk more about this in class. See you then.